Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey, your host, and I want to thank you for taking the time to join me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. Now, one of the great things about Foxborough is we have so many civic and community organizations that have the membership and have the drive to make a difference. And one of those special organizations that we've had on our program before featured is the Foxborough Rotary Club, and I'm very honored to be joined once again by my friends Jury Love. Jury, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
And Tony McDonald. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you for being here.
Well, thank me for being here.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. We're all going to thank each other for being here, and I thank you for being here too, Foxborough. So the reason why we're here is a very, it's a known but a not known thing, and it's called the foreign exchange students. Now, we sometimes hear about foreign exchange students. What a great thing. Sometimes we'll see our neighbors and friends with a foreign exchange student. It's very interesting to talk to that person. But where do they come from? How do we get involved? And what is the structure behind it? And that's why we're here tonight, because Foxborough Rotary Club and the Rotary International are longtime supporters of the Foxborough Schools Student Foreign Exchange Program, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Excellent. So, Tony, why don't we start off with you, and why don't you just give me the guts? What is it?
Great. So Foxborough Rotary, a part of Rotary International, they were since 1966 paired up with Eastern State Student Exchange Program, and they've been working over the years developing a safe international exchange student program so that students can go across seas, learn more about the culture, and get really involved in those countries so that they become well-rounded students, so that in the future they are well-rounded thought processors, so they can really understand how the world works and how to make it a better place. Over the years, Foxborough Rotary has been putting money away from our fundraisers, and on and off have been putting on student exchange programs, and this year we've been working on doing that. So we are looking for students in the high school, ages 15 to 18, that are looking to maybe do some sort of exchange program now when we're offering this type of program.
It's so interesting, and we see the pictures in the Foxborough Reporter every year of the group of students who come from other countries to stay here with our host families. But of course, the exchange part of it is that we also have kids that are going overseas. And it's always interesting to think about where we're at today. When this program started in 1966. Correct. That's 52 years ago. And with that, it was a bigger world back then, and we like to think it's a smaller world, more connected. But at the same time, Facebook and YouTube is not the real world. There's nothing like that exposure and actually going over and immersing yourself in the culture and having the opportunity to live day in, day out in another country to really get that experience. So how cool is that?
It's amazing. I wish I had the opportunity when I was in high school.
Well, one of those things that always fascinates me about this program is you meet new people and get to learn new things. And I did not realize, Jury Love, that you were yourself an exchange student back in the day.
Yeah, that's right, Bob.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so when I was 18 years old, or 17 actually, in Japan, where the small town I was living, they had this exchange program offered through the city, and I applied. And first year I didn't get in, but the second year I got in, and it was very competitive because the city sponsored about $5,000 to send off one student to America. And I came to America for the first time for 2 weeks, and I've never got on an airplane, and I've never been to a foreign country. I had to get a passport, and it was so exciting. And then when I arrived in America, everything was so big and like the size of McDonald's, like cups and and then my host family was just amazing. And in fact, for the 2 weeks program that I was in the first time, I fell in love with America. And then when I went back to Japan, we 3 of my friends went back to, it was in Washington State, and then stayed in 6 months program. After that, it's almost like a gap year after graduating from high school. in Japan, and then I stayed in senior high school in America, and it was so challenging because I didn't speak a word of English, and
Really?
now I think you understand me well, but back then
Absolutely.
I don't think
Very difficult,
nobody really understood what I was saying, and I was put in the senior high school, so they were talking about current event, affirmative action. I had no idea what they were talking about, and mythology, I have no idea. And so anyways, I had so much fun. In fact, I fell in love after I went back to my country, Japan, and I just wanted to come back to America. And then in fact, I came back to Berkeley College of Music, and in 1998, and then
Just
20
a few years ago.
So
Time flies.
basically, the exchange program, if I didn't apply, I think I would be in Japan still. And I think it's an amazing opportunity for teenagers, especially financially, like Rotary is sponsoring, and I could not have afforded the cost to come to America. It was just so amazing the city sponsored for me. So I think this exchange program is amazing, and in fact, like after so many years that I was an exchange student, I'm so proud to be a Rotarian for the Foxborough Rotary Club and to be able to help the new student and teenagers to see, hopefully, some experience that I had in the future, and just so exciting.
What a strong endorsement for the program. So phenomenal.
Exactly.
And it's great that you're Rotarian. And of course, Foxborough is a better place for you being here. You do so much for the community, and you're always everywhere. And this is a clear example of why this is such a potentially powerful program for the individual, as well as for even where you land, because every stepping stone in life creates the person that we are. And as you mentioned, you could just as easily have not ever been here, and how interesting our path is.
Exactly. And in fact, I met one of the students from Milton who applied through the Rotary International Exchange Program, and then she went to Japan, actually, and then spent her freshman year in high school in Tokyo, hosted by Rotarians. And then she, in fact, became fluent in Japanese.
Really?
And it just changed her life. But what a great thing about Rotary Exchange Program is not only she's going to Japan, but she's meeting up with all the exchange students from all over the world. So she met like 10, 20 students who were at the time in Tokyo, and then she actually made a best friend from Hungary. So when she came back to America, she went to Hungary straight to visit her best friend who she met in Tokyo through Rotary program. So it's amazing.
That's tremendous.
Small world.
So, you bring up a good point about cost, but before we get to there, we need to talk about what we're really doing. And this is the Foxborough Rotary Club and the Rotary International, it's a committee, Rotary International Committee. It's for student exchange programs. So if you want to learn more about it, it's right there on the screen. It's www.exchangestudent.org. And that'll give you all the information, everything that we're talking about, plus the history and the logistics, including an application process. So Tony, I guess we should talk now that if I wanted to find out locally about this, I can reach out to you, correct?
Please do,
You're the
yes.
point person here with the Foxborough Rotary about this, and your email address, the best way to get a hold of Tony is at anthony.mcdonnell@outlook.com, and you'll see it on your screen. It's ANTHONY.MCDONNELL@outlook.com. So Tony, with the local Rotary Club, I know that there's a funnel, if you will, of people coming in, but also people going out. It's coordinated with the Foxborough High School?
Correct.
And so this is for Foxborough High School students?
Yep, and we are trying with the regional charter school as well. It's just a little bit more difficult there because it is, if you give up your seat, you're not guaranteed it the following year.
It's a different curriculum and a different reality.
Foxborough High
sure.
School is a little bit easier. So it's hopefully what we have happen is we have a student come out of Foxborough High School, go to a different country, and then take a student either from that same country and have them come to Foxborough High School and take a seat there.
Okay.
So it's a nice even swap. So that is for the 10 to 11 month long international program.
It's that long?
Yes,
Wow.
which is nice. You get
You get the whole year. You're going to immerse yourself.
Exactly.
And you came over in a 2-week
First and then 6
plan,
months
and then
after.
you fell in love. So can you imagine?
Yes.
So we do have a short-term one as well, which is a little bit more family-oriented, meaning that the student would go on a 3 to 6 week long maximum exchange,
Okay.
and they would live with a host family in the other country, and with the student of their similar age. And then the student from the host family would come over here at another point and live with that student's family.
So it's a together thing.
Exactly.
Not an exchange per se, but a share and a share.
Exactly. So
How interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a different. It gives.
It's a different dynamic.
Exactly.
You have
It
a
gives the
built-in
local
friend.
community a different dynamic. It gives the other country a different dynamic. So it really helps everybody all at once. Obviously, the long-term program's a little bit more fun. You get to have a little bit more, time in the country, and the Rotary does put on a bunch of programs so they can do some sightseeing, and that's the one great thing about doing it with the Rotary group is that you're immersed with local Rotarians in that country.
Okay.
So there's a safety net.
So you're
if you
not
will.
plumped down and abandoned. There's a follow through, and there's some
Exactly.
oversight, some supports in place.
And it's the same type of application process in that country for the student, the host family, the education, as it is here.
Well, Rotary is a very strong organization, and if their international exchange program has been successful since '66, I'm sure that the nuts and bolts are down pretty packed. So it's really a matter of applying and being interested. So if you're still always looking for students?
Always looking for students ages 15 to 18 and a half, and that's for the day that they actually leave the country.
Okay.
If the student will be, or is a senior year student and applies, they will do a gap year, like a 13th grade, in the new country. So it wouldn't be, they're not going to school, they still go to school, they still go to high school. It would just be another type of experience for them.
So the interesting part of this is that when you're exchanging, you have to give and receive. So if my student, my son, my daughter, goes off to Hungary, Japan, wherever, I'm going to receive somebody back.
We hope that we get another student to come back.
Okay.
We hope that the
The
family
possibility is there, and potentially there would be. So as a family, as the parents, I would be willing, or should be willing, to open my arms, just like I'm hoping somebody will open their arms to my child.
Exactly. That's what we hope, because we want to make sure that not only is your child getting the most that he or she can, but that you and your family also are, and so is our community. We are open to having a couple of families maybe host, so they get a different dynamic. But at the end of the day, we want this foreign exchange student to have the most family-oriented possibility as possible, and we want to make sure that they're getting the same daily tasks that your child would. So if they're getting chores, or if they have to pick up stuff around the yard, and kind of be a part of your family,
Be a real member.
and understand what it means to be an American.
Okay. Did you have to do that when you came across?
I
Were you
offered.
treated as honored guest who didn't have to do anything, or did you
Well,
get plopped right into the family way, taking
yeah.
out the garbage and
Yeah,
helping walking the dog and all those things
I
that?
think I've done everything. Cooked.
Yeah.
Like I offered to cook, but it was just right in the family. And then in fact, years and after, like maybe 20 something years later on, I'm still really close with my host mother.
Really?
Beautiful thing. And then,
nice.
in fact, I think I talk to my host mother more than I talk to my real mom, and share my life, and just like she's just amazing.
I'm sure anybody that knows you knows that you're a wonderful friend, and you are so giving and outgoing. So I cannot even doubt that for a second.
Oh, thank you. But they changed my life, and the host family, they welcomed, and they, at that time, their children were 6 and 8, and then now I have my small children. I just can't believe how generous they were then at the time, and then it's just unbelievable. Just the fact, when you go to exchangestudent.org, on the right bottom corner, there's a country of selection that people can see. So it's a PDF file, but there's an age 15 to 18.5 that all the countries that they can go and they can see. In fact, as Tony mentioned, if you're a senior year, for instance, this year, May, that you are graduating, you can still go to a country. However, if you're 18.5, the only 3 countries that accepting Brazil and Czech and then Belgium.
Really?
But if you're below 18.5, there are like maybe so many countries, like 30, 40 different countries
Sounds like a
that
great
you
experience, great opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. And also, if you're 8th grader in a middle school, like the student that I mentioned, you can still apply, and then for the freshman year.
For the next year.
Yes,
Sure. Okay.
definitely. So there are
So you can forward plan.
opportunities.
Yeah,
Good.
the ages are all based off of the day you actually leave to go to the new country.
So I have to ask, it's a terrible question, but it's a reality of life. What is the cost? How much is it going to cost me as Mr. Joe homeowner parent to send my darling off to Belgium or Brazil or some other wonderful place?
Well, that's the beauty of it. So traditional student exchange programs can cost up to $10,000 per child. With the help of Essex, Eastern States Student Exchange Program, part of Rotary, and our local Rotary chapter club, we've had subsidized that cost substantially for the students and the families. So really, they're going to be paying for airfare, some small fees like medical insurance, stuff like that.
Okay.
But a lot of the fees and stipulations we're taking care of as a club. And again, Essex has taken care of a lot of the subsidiaries. Every chapter, every club pays for little trips out to the country and sightseeing and stuff like that.
Okay.
We give a stipend to the child so they can, maybe get some souvenirs and stuff like that while they're out there as well. So, it's on a case-by-case basis, but we have done a lot of fundraising this year as a club and put away a substantial amount of money for both a short-term and long-term exchange student so that we can get a student going in application process hopefully rather soon.
Outstanding. So again, Foxborough Rotary and the Rotary International Committee for the Student Exchange Program looking for students who want to have an experience of a lifetime and venture across the sea or maybe down in South America to see what life is all about in another culture, another world, and to maybe have a life-changing experience, a life-altering opportunity to make a new path. So for those of you who might be interested, or if you're a parent watching and you think your child might be interested, log on to www.exchangestudent.org and check out the program, see what it's all about. You can also email Tony here, my friend Tony McDonald, at anthony.mcdonald@outlook.com. So we're almost running out of time. Jury time, I'm going to give you the last word, of course. But I want to remind everybody that your local Rotarians are one of the civic organizations that make Foxborough special. And they're always looking for members to jump in, help out. They meet on a monthly basis, I believe, up at the...
Bi-weekly. At the Olive and Mint on Route 1, every Thursdays at noon.
Every other Thursday, first and third Thursday at noon. I've been to one of their meetings. They're very well attended and they're very dynamic. They have a speaker and they do business, but it's also a great way to chat and meet some of your neighbors here in town. So, check them out. And of course, you can go to the www.exchangestudent.org. For this program, you can check out the Rotarians, look at them on Facebook. There's so many different ways to get a hold of your local Rotary. I'm not even going to go into it. You know how to get a hold of them. So, Jerry, I'm going to give you the second to last word, and we'll end up with Tony. So,
about exchange program?
yeah.
Well, I'm right here in America, which when I was 17, I would have never imagined because of the exchange program. And because of the exchange program, I've done so much in this country, and then so many people helped me. Just a fun fact, the student that I met when I was exchange student, she became my best friend, and then she actually got sponsored by Rotary International for her undergrad and grad school, completely paid for from Rotary International, and then she's now working for United Nations for IOM in Niger, and she speaks like 7 languages now.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very proud of her. So just to let you know, type of the people, not just doing the exchange program, but willing to help other people or willing to be motivated, driven, like those are the teenagers that you would definitely meet through this exchange program that I can guarantee, and then lifelong friendship with the students, and then also the families in the countries that you might fall in love with, so be careful.
We'll hopefully get our children back, but it's a long path. Tony?
Well, all I can say is, we're hoping for a similar outcome. We're hoping that we can take a, young student's mind that doesn't know what they want to do after college and maybe send them out to a new country, have them shape their mind a little bit on their own by sightseeing and by realizing that, what we have here in Foxborough, we're very, very lucky for. And it's not the same everywhere else. So take that experience, bring it back home, and let us also experience that with a student here. And hopefully we can take that and run with it and have a better country and have a little bit closer to world peace.
It's a powerful message and a powerful program. Thank you so much, Tony and Jury, for sharing the exchange student program with us here on Foxborough Central. And I guess as a final thought, for the parents who are out there with children who may be considering this, it's also life-altering for us as we bring these other students from another country into our home, and we learn also. So for everybody involved, it sounds like a really great opportunity to make a difference and have a difference made.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming
Bob.
on the show, and thank you very much for joining us. Of course, you can check out any information here that you might have missed by logging onto our YouTube channel or by checking us out at www.fcatv.org. The Rotarians are all volunteers, and we're also volunteers here at Foxborough Cable Access. If you'd like to come on down and learn how you can volunteer, be behind the camera, be in front of the camera, check us out at 28 Central Street or call us at 508-543-4757, sorry about that. And then you can also jump in and get a blue jacket like we have. On behalf of all the volunteers here at Foxborough Cable Access, Mike Stewart, Deb Stores behind the camera, Paul Beck behind the glass, Lauren Bitar, and Paul Beck who put this all together. I'm Bob Hickey. Have a great day, Foxborough.